As you can see there, a Fox News alert, protests are intensifying in Hong Kong.
A police officer shot with an arrow as authorities use tear gas to drive back protesters occupying a university. This threatening to escalate the violence in the more than 5-month-long movement.
Wow, some dramatic pictures there. Here with an update live on Fox and Friends State Department spokesperson, our old friend Morgan Ortagus. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morgan, I know you're watching this situation very closely. Of course, Secretary Pompeo and the President are as well. Well, what can and what should the U.S. be doing now?
Well, it is important to note that the president has called on a humane resolution between China and the citizen of Hong Kong's. And Secretary Mike Pompeo has often talked about over the past several months where we've seen these protests. He's called on China to honor its commitments as it relates to Hong Kong. So this is something that we have been discussing quite a bit at the State Department. We think that there needs to be a dialogue between the government of Hong Kong and its citizens. We're certainly calling for a peaceful resolution and for peaceful protests. And these pictures that you're seeing are certainly troubling. And we use this opportunity in this moment to call on the government of China to honor its commitments as it relates to Hong Kong.
Absolutely. Very dramatic pictures there, Morgan. And, you know, a lot of people look at this, what's happening in Hong Kong, and say, hey, there's freedom fighters out there who don't want the thumb of China crushing their ability to stay free. Is there anything more the United States could or should be doing?
Well, we have many diplomats on the ground in Hong Kong, and we continue to work to urge a resolution between the government and the people and the citizens there. I mean, this is where we really need to go into diplomatic conversations, into a peaceful dialogue. We need the government of Hong Kong to understand the demands and the needs of their citizens. You remember this began several months ago because of an extradition law that this is what set the citizens inflamed. And so it's that sort of dialogue that needs to happen between the government of Hong Kong and the citizens.
So, Morgan, we're also watching what's happening in Iran. We're seeing violence erupt in the streets after gas rationing and price hikes. As Secretary Pompeo says that he's standing with the Iranian protesters, what are you watching for with these protests, and is this a tipping point?
Yeah, thanks for asking, Lisa. I think that this is one of the most important stories around the world that's happening this weekend. And what we're seeing is the people of Iran are demanding accountability, or demanding transparency with their government. You know, what we saw during the JCPOA, whenever Iran got billions of dollars of sanction relief from the United States and our allies, we never saw that money going to the Iranian people. It wasn't used, the billions of dollars in sanctions relief weren't used for new roads, new hospitals, new schools, and instead that money was used to fund Iran's terrorist proxies throughout the Middle East. And so what you're seeing today, and we certainly stand by the people of Iran, what you're seeing today is them standing up to their government, saying that you know, we demand accountability, we demand transparency. And you're seeing this around the world on authoritarian regimes. Look what's also going on in Venezuela, where the democratically elected Juan Guaido and his people are also standing up to Maduro and his cronies. So the bigger picture that I think sometimes the news media is missing this weekend, when you look at Iran, when you look at Venezuela, when you look at Hong Kong, and many other places, Iraq and Lebanon, people are standing up for accountability and for an end to corruption, endemic corruption,
Morgan,
in their countries.
I want to jump in. I know we're going from Hong Kong to Iran. I want to go to Anguilla because there's an important case involving an American citizen, a banker from Connecticut, as you know. He basically was on vacation with his family. Scott Hapgood, there he is. He says that a hotel worker came in with a knife, was essentially trying to kill him, his wife, his kids, and in protecting himself, he's now being charged with murder, essentially. The president tweeted about this some weeks ago and said that the U.S. was going to have his back. Can you give us some update on what the administration might be doing to make sure that he is safe?
Well, it's important to note that the highest priority for Secretary Pompeo and the president is the safety and security of all American citizens when they are abroad. We have a very large consular affairs unit at the State Department that helps citizens around the world with these sorts of issues. And while we won't comment on any specific case, we will say that we are watching this case very closely. And again, that the safety and security of Americans is something that we're pursuing at the State Department.
All right, an important priority, no doubt. We're going to take us. We appreciate you coming in, taking in all these questions, all these hot spots around the world. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Morgan.
Good to see you again.